Hey guys, good morning. Excited to be in God's Word today with y'all. We're going to be in Luke chapter 2, verses 21 through 24. Let me go ahead and get started. It says, "And when 8 days were completed for the circumcision of the child, his name was called Jesus, the name given by the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And now the days of purification, according to the law of Moses, were completed. They brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. And it is written in the law of the Lord, every male child who opens the womb shall be called holy to the Lord, and to offer a sacrifice, according to what is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons." Now this is obviously such an incredible moment, right? We're getting the initial days after Jesus was born, and the fact that Mary and Joseph, even though they had gone through a tremendous amount of heartbreak, heartache, they had their hearts set on the Lord. They were doing things right. They made a priority to make sure that Jesus was, as a baby, a child, circumcised. They made sure to follow through on what the angel said, to call his name Jesus. Also, we get to see that they did go up to Jerusalem to be able to offer up a pair of turtle doves as kind of a measure of the purification rite that took place for every woman who would give birth. There was a certain time period set, and then they would bring an animal. It typically would tell you to bring in a lamb, but here we see they brought 2 turtle doves, and because Mary and Joseph had nothing. It was kind of like when you read through Leviticus, I believe it's chapter 12, you get to see at the bottom of that chapter, it talks about how, and if you don't have the ability to bring a lamb, go ahead and bring 2 turtle doves. And that was always something that was the heart of the Lord, is that he always had a means and a way to allow people to approach them, whether it was with in some measure of abundance and they could afford a lamb, or there was in some meager capacity and all they could provide was a couple of turtle doves. God never made those who were lower of stature, lower of level, have to climb a certain ladder or be at a certain level. And so what do we get with this? I think it's important that we understand that there are just certain things which God has laid out for us to walk in. And in this case, these were measures of the law for Mary and Joseph, and they choose to honor the Lord. And this is one of those things where they had one fear, that they would do everything that it took to make sure that they would then go and as they should. In this case, would have probably been from Nazareth at this point all the way down to Jerusalem or up to Jerusalem, and follow through on this. That would have been a lot of work, especially with a newborn baby, especially given the fact that they were on their own at this point, clearly. But they knew that if they were going to be able to have the blessings of the Lord on their life as they would raise this child, that they would need to be in perfect alignment with God's plan and God's purposes. They feared the Lord. They genuinely had one fear. And so therefore it would cost them something. It would cost them convenience. It would cost them, in this case, some time, energy, effort, some money to get turtle doves, of which they didn't have much of at this point in time. We don't believe that the Magi showed up within the first few days. Otherwise they probably would have provided a lamb. They had little to nothing at this moment. And I think it's important, and this is what I really want to get across, is that it doesn't matter if you have a lot, it doesn't matter if you have a little, it doesn't matter your background, where you've come from, it doesn't matter what hardships you face or what hardships you might face. All those things come together and you can simply be obedient to the Lord. When you have one fear, it means I'm going to do everything that would honor God. Regardless of the consequences to me, regardless of the difficulty and hardship. Why? Because he is worthy of every bit of my honor and my fear. And so I challenge you, consider all the excuses you may put out of why you can't serve the Lord, and you wash this aside and say, listen, I I have one fear, and that's you, Lord, and I want to serve you with my whole heart. Just like Mary and Joseph did, following through on the very things that he laid out before them to do, even though it was hard, difficult, inconvenient, would have cost them much. They still did it anyways. I love you guys. God bless you all. Be encouraged in the Lord.